This is me 2 years ago. I was diagnosed with Burkitt Leukemia, nearly died, had 5 days left to live and went through 6 rounds of chemotherapy. This is the same me 2 years later. In part 2 of this series, I will share with you what I eat in a typical day to rebuild my strength and my muscle mass. Without further ado, let's eat. Good morning in the morning. It is another beautiful day in Mallorca. Why is it a beautiful day? Many reasons. Reason number one, Taylor Swift released a new album. I had a clown for breakfast. I had a good meditation, I had a good breathwork session, very cold shower. I think it was 7 degrees. And of course we are starting to film. Why do I keep saying we? It's just me in this massive villa. I'm starting to film for TLO, my online course coming 22nd of May. And that's that. And of course, we are filming, I did it again, who's we? I am finally filming one of the most requested videos. I am showing you what I eat in a day, what I ate to rebuild my strength, to recover, foods that we can eat to protect ourselves from certain diseases. We'll have a lot of fun, I promise you. I'm in a good mood. I have to entertain myself because this place here, I don't know if you can see it, massive. I'm gonna probably, you know what? Let's fly the drone. Has nothing to do with the video. I try to combine value and entertainment. I don't know if I do a good job, but I think it's fair to say I'm funny. Look at this. It's just the perfect spot for me to go absolutely monk mode, to film, to get the course done. Who knows, maybe I find some friends who join me.
Morena, morena linda, cuando se mueve todos saben lo que va a pasar. Morena, esa morena linda, se vuelve loca cuando alguien la invita a bailar. Ay, mi morena. Guys, before we start, a big, massive disclaimer. Nutrition, diet, whenever it's discussed online, it's like people go against each other like there is no tomorrow. Instagram comments, they're like, sometimes people spend hours commenting and hating on each other and discussing and arguing and going against each other. In 2000 years, people will look at our generation and they will have a couple of they really did that moments. Past generations, they always think we have it all figured out. I can tell you nobody has. I'm probably doing things right now that in a couple of decades, I won't do anymore. We are constantly evolving. So what I want as a community is to be humble. And sometimes there are revolutionary ideas. You say maybe things like, I couldn't do that, I couldn't eat that, I couldn't do... Let's have an open mind. Like the food that I'm sharing today. Just give it a try, give it a shot, have an open mind. Test, try and see before you judge. I don't want to create scarcity. Sometimes I see it with people who go through cancer treatment. It's already a hard thing. Then scaring them with oh, you can't eat fruits because it has sugar and that promotes cancer growth. I'm we gotta be really careful and thoughtful. And I would, for example, post that I was eating berries. You can't imagine the amount of messages I got from people oh, this is amazing that you're eating it. Different people, same foods. Oh, you can't eat that. And it was unbelievable. Obviously, if I say something oh, I'm having an oatmeal and you are celiac, well, be smart, right? Before I show you my beautiful breakfast, I have more here. The intention of this video is to basically give you an idea of what you can eat to increase your overall happiness, your life energy, and protect you from certain diseases. Around 90% of your serotonin, the so-called happiness hormone, are produced in your gut. So gut health is freaking crucial. It's something we should prioritize. And your gut loves fiber. Your gut loves a couple of things. I'll get into it a bit later. But gut health has to have massive priority in our lives. Our gut basically makes us happy or can make us unhappy. Also, almost 70 to 80% of your immune system is in your gut. Your gut is incredibly important for your health. So the question that I'm gonna ask you is, how can we improve your gut health? One way is your gut loves fiber. And so we are trying to eat foods that have fiber. What I have for breakfast most times is an oatmeal, and let's count how many different plants we are basically eating. So I don't count calories, I count colors. Count! We have oats, we have soy yogurt, we have raspberries, we have blackberries, we have
walnuts. I already had a couple of walnuts. That's usually what I start eating. An apple, we have a banana, 2 dates. I already had a couple of flax seeds. I don't have a grinder, so I kind of grind them in my mouth. Flax seeds are incredibly healthy. It's like one of the amazing health foods. Soy yogurt is a category. We'll probably sit down and like talk very detailed about it. Soy yogurt, for example, is fermented, and your gut loves fermented things. We want to have a diverse microbiome, and eating fermented foods such as soy yogurt, kimchi, tempeh increases the diversity of your microbiome of your gut. So we want to have them a couple times per day, at least once. One of my favorite things to eat is simple oatmeal with good amount of fat, with good amount of protein. And we have another one. If it's an organic kiwi, you can eat it with the skin, with the peel. But I would only do that if it's organic. Like one of the things that when I do that on social media, like, oh, you can't do it. Can you actually do it? Yeah, you can. If you would have asked me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have always thought that eating an unripe banana doesn't make sense. But it's actually a good source of resistant starch. So we always have to have an open mind and think before we judge. It's really important. Trust me, otherwise we don't evolve. Okay guys, count colors, not calories. I have about 8 minutes before I go to a paddle match. So, oh, this is such a typical Axel lunch. Come on, this here is a piece of art. Oh. Didn't I say earlier count colors, not calories? This is a perfect example. Whole grain bread, avocado, tempeh, tomatoes. I love to either cook or stir fry tomatoes. They have lycopene, which is really health beneficial, and if you actually cook it, it has even more lycopene. Red onions, I forgot, sprouts, and I'm a big fan of especially broccoli sprouts. I'm going to talk more about broccoli sulforaphane a bit later, especially when it comes to protecting yourself from certain diseases or making it less likely. Unfortunately, during chemotherapy, I was only allowed to eat cooked foods. The thing about chemotherapy is that it not only attacks good cells, obviously, and so your immune system isn't the strongest, and when you eat raw foods and you don't have a functioning immune system, apparently you're more prone for infections, and so they're advised to eat cooked foods or foods that have, you know, peel, like bananas were fine, things of that nature. Obviously no sprouts, so sprouts is something that I think everybody should be eating, especially broccoli sprouts. We're probably going to talk about sulforaphane a bit later when I cook dinner, because of the broccoli that I already chopped and is basically waiting in the kitchen. If you can eat sprouts, like even I can make my own sprouts, and that also means you can make your own sprouts. Incredibly delicious, healthy, cheap to make, organic food available to basically everybody. So I don't know where we are in terms of counting colors, but probably already like just here. Unique plant foods, tomatoes, sprouts, tempeh. Tempeh is fermented soy, so fermented foods, great for your gut. Spices like pepper, olive oil on top, and it's ready. Also a good example, like I remember when I started making my first podcast, I would always say like, avoid oils, and I still say avoid oils, especially if you want to lose weight. I think olive oil is actually something that can be part of a healthy diet, especially because of its polyphenol content. So I like to add a little bit olive oil. I would try to avoid oils like sunflower oil, rapeseed oil. If you use oil, use olive oil. That would have been a meal also I would have eaten during treatment. Like, my diet is not perfect. Also, don't stress about it. Like, I try to eat whole foods as much as possible. But if it's not the case, if I have some whole grain bread at home, so be it. Like, I don't try to be perfect. I don't stress about food. Like, food is medicine and food is fun, and it's okay if it's not always 100% organic and I try my best, but oh boy, it's a non-negotiable for me. I don't stress about it. And now it's time to go play paddle, and maybe while driving I can talk a bit about things you maybe shouldn't eat so much of. Alcohol. I haven't been drinking in forever, especially like heavy drinking. It avoids alcohol. Literally kills, destroys good gut bacteria, and so you want to avoid alcohol. Obviously I don't tell you what to do, but this is what I already did before. Fast food, processed sugars. And when I say like do your best, like don't beat yourself up when, you know, you drink or something. Like, don't feel guilty. Like, if you make the conscious choice. For example, yesterday I went to a restaurant here in Mallorca with a couple, with Jesse and Marlin, two of my business clients who came to visit me here in Mallorca. We went to this restaurant. They have this vegan, I think Kinder Bueno or something. The restaurant you'll see somewhere here. It is just really good, and I said, like, I'm gonna eat it, and then I don't feel guilty about it. I make a conscious choice, but I avoid it most of the time. It's not about what you do like once. It's about what you do most of the time. And I also know that, like, people, they stress themselves so much. The stress that you create about the food is actually bigger than the stress, the inflammation that comes from processed foods, or, like, in this case, fast food, sugary food. Like, there's a big difference between the sugar that you find in Pop-Tarts and the sugar that you find in a banana and an apple that you get from Whole Foods. Amazing. I would just try to avoid processed sugar, and that's also what I did throughout my, throughout chemotherapy. The food that you saw today, except the sprouts, those were all foods that I ate. I tried to eat as many whole foods as possible and eat the food that excites me. Like, I really enjoy eating colorful food. That food basically screams like, eat me, mainly whole foods. And I'm gonna show you dinner a bit later, because now is first time for paddle schmeddle. Just to give you an idea how big paddle is in Spain. Those are all paddle courts. Like, if you find 3 somewhere, that's impressive. This is like, Jesus. Good that I didn't film anything because we got humbled big time, but it was so much fun. I need to learn Spanish though. I did not know what score it was. I wish I could have told him, close the freaking gap, but he was so nice. We just had such a good time. And also, I just checked it out. It was 90 minutes. I almost burnt 1,000 calories. Not that it matters, but I always tell people, find a sport that is fun, so that you don't have to motivate yourself. Like, in my opinion, playing paddle for 90 minutes, which is great for your brain, by the way. Out of all sports, racket sports are the best. I think table tennis is the best. It's so good for your brain. It is a sport. Like, I just did 90 minutes of cardio. I didn't feel like doing cardio. So good for your heart, so good for your brain. So start playing paddle. Now it's time for my favorite part of the day, dinner. It is dinner time, and this is one of my most favorite meals in the entire world. Whole grain pasta, beans, tomatoes, broccoli sprouts. We have herbs, we have olive oil, onions, we have garlic, we have carrots. That's it. That's a lot. It smells so freaking delicious. Pasta. I think in my last life I was Italian. And then one thing, the broccoli research regarding sulforaphane looks really promising to me, not just in protecting against cancer, but also during treatment. I'm not an oncologist. It's probably good for you anyways to eat broccoli, so I like to have a daily dose of sulforaphane. If you cook broccoli, make sure that you cut it first, let it sit for about 40 minutes so sulforaphane can be activated. If you don't want to wait, add mustard seed as a spice, or just eat broccoli sprouts like I do. Let's enjoy. And guys, I was complaining this morning about the temperature. It's 20 degrees. It is beautiful. It is so freaking beautiful. Sun is shining. So am I. Look at the flowers. Kind of hungry. This plate is getting really heavy. And so let's eat. There must be like seeds for this, no? Anyways, I could probably film an entire video about supplements. Here's a short overview of what I take, and I'm gonna put a link in the description. All the commission that I make this year will be donated to people who need support. Omega-3, those are those ugly yellow capsules. A vegan multi-nutrient that covers potential critical nutrients on a vegan diet. I take also creatine, magnesium before I go to bed, magnesium glycinate. And what else? Once in a while I take a bit of calcium depending on if I'm in Asia, but right now I'm not in Asia. I take this collagen booster once in a while, but it's like just a nice to have. So the multi-nutrient is most important, like cover vitamin D, cover vitamin B12, especially if you don't eat any animal products like I do. I think that's the most important stuff. I spent the last 2 hours, I am freezing, even though it was warm. I'm drinking one of the healthiest drinks you could possibly drink. I'm gonna tell you what it is, but just for a second. I was filming for TLO, my online course, which is coming on my birthday, 22nd of May. I put my best knowledge about fitness, about health, about wealth, about mindset into a course. You can buy it for less than you pay for a new pair of AirPods if you buy during launch week. So what you want to do right now is click on that link that you will find in the description. A waiting list, you will be notified, you will be one of the first who will hear about it. We also, the first 60 people who buy, get a free retreat ticket on top. It's mind-blowing. So make sure to be on the waiting list. It's time to tell you what I'm drinking here. It's a turmeric latte. Ooh, how revolutionary. But it's one of the healthiest drinks you can possibly have. Organic turmeric, so I add hot water, plant milk, a little bit of black pepper for better absorption, and it's anti-inflammatory. It is turmeric in itself is one of the healthiest things you can possibly put into your body. So makes your teeth yellow, but in German we say, wer schön sein will, muss leiden. People who want to be beautiful need to suffer. We Germans, we're funny creatures. Overall message of this video: eat food that makes you feel good. Feed your good gut bacteria, whole foods, fermented foods, all the things that you saw today, and have fun with it. Don't count calories, count colors. Can make sense in certain circumstances to count calories. I would prefer to count colors. Like, eat a colorful variety of whole foods. Whether you're vegan or not, making sure that you eat colorful food, unique plant foods, is a good idea. And so, hope you learned something. I hope you changed something. What is one decision that you will make after this video? Like, one thing that you will change. Imagine you're gonna change something because of a YouTube video. How amazing would that be? You make me so freaking happy. And so right now, make a decision. Get rid of the fast food in your house. Start cooking whole foods. Whatever it is for you. I am insanely grateful that you are part of this community. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give it a thumbs up, to share it with a friend. Share it on social media. Tag me. Tag me when you watch the videos. I want to see it. I like to have dinner as early as possible for better sleep. And then in bed by 9. I love that. Anyways, thank you for watching. See ya. I think in the last video, Jesus,